external causes of disease in Chinese medicine is the environment. We're literally talking about wind, we're talking about cold, we're talking about fire, also summer heat, which just means heat that comes in the late summer. Summertime heat, and then the late summer heat where you get that Indian summer. Right? Dampness, which is we'll go into it. Dryness, and then we'll talk about that in a second. So wind is literally just, it's too windy. Wind is the first thing that attacks us. It's always the first thing that comes. What it does is it comes in and it blows open our pores on our skin. When it blows open the pores, then it makes room for all the other pathogens. We call them pathogens, or the external pathogens. Or we call them the external evils, as in the L.Ac, the evil chi. Right? It allows any of these other ones to come in, depending on what's going on. When it's cold that comes in, it constricts the flow. Constricts the flow of chi. That's what cold does. When fire comes in, or summer heat comes in, it invigorates flow. It makes things move faster. But it also makes you get like a sore throat. Right? Sore throat is hot. Dampness is related to like foggy, damp weather, moldy environments, raining. All of that is a damp environment. These will then lead to pathological fluids and a heavy feeling. Dryness, again, dries things out. Very simple. For instance, Burning Man, like I said before. So all of these things can combine. But usually you don't have cold and fire at the same time, or cold and summer heat. Summer heat being the late summer, as in the Indian summer. Traditionally, the Indian summer tends to come with a very humid environment. And that's why summer heat tends to bring along dampness with it. Our environment here in San Francisco is windy, it's cold, and it's damp, because we have so much fog. It's a very common combination, wind, cold, and damp. So these are the external pathogens in Chinese medicine, the evils. Any questions about them? So let's talk about a wind cold versus a wind heat. These are the two most common diagnoses of the common cold. Wind, because it always is the first thing to come. It opens the pores, then allows either cold or heat to come in. A wind cold, you'll just have an itchy throat. Just a little itchy, nothing serious. But you'll have lots of nasal discharge. The nasal discharge will be clear, mucousy, and it'll come out. It's very common to have neck and tightness and headaches. That's because remember that it invades here first, and the cold will do what? It will constrict the flow. So then the chi and the blood aren't flowing smoothly, and then you get pain. You get a headache. Versus a wind heat. Wind heat, you get a strong sore throat. Wind heat, you get that strong sore throat. Burning, it hurts to swallow. Nasal discharge will be just a little bit. But when it comes out, it'll be yellowish or greenish. If you cough up phlegm when you have a wind heat, it'll be harder to get it up. And when it comes out, it'll be yellow or green. It'll be really thick. There won't be too much of it. Whereas with the wind cold, when you cough up phlegm, it's copious, there's a ton of it, and it's clear and it's whitish, very fluidy. So that's the difference. How many people here have taken Yin Chao San? Know that formula? Got one? Yin Chao San? Okay. Yin Chao San is sold at Whole Foods and all the common health food stores. there's that herbal tincture. I forget what that's called. Like herbal defense? No, I forget. Oh, what's it called? Yeah. That's really commonly used, and it has yin chao san in it. Yin chao san has a lot of cooling herbs in it. Very cooling. Those cooling herbs are appropriate for wind heat. But guess what? All of these stores, they all say, oh, you have a cold, take yin chao san. Whereas if you have a wind cold and you take yin chao san, you're going to make it worse. I know somebody used to be like, oh, I used to always take yin chao, I used to always work, and now it just makes me feel worse. And that's because when he was younger, he used to get a lot more wind heat than wind cold. So I will say this, because this kind of contradicts a little bit of what I said before. Our environment will determine what we get. But once it makes it into our body, our constitution will change its nature. So for me, I get way more wind heats than I do wind colds. That's because I run warm. As other people who run cold all the time, they'll get way more wind colds than wind heats.
So you can have some for wind heat.
Yes.